It's that time of the year when many consumers will be taking time off to be with their families. Wonga estimates that an average South African consumer will spend an extra 6,300 rand for additional expenses over the festive season. The money is spent mostly on food and drinks as well as traveling costs. Just under half of the working South Africans rely on their bonus to cover extra expenses.
We expect South Africans to have an estimated budget over and above their traditional monthly expenses for the festive season at 6,326 Rand. What we're expecting to see here is some level of optimism and recovery in the market in terms of how South Africans plan to measure their spend across the festive season. That'll include things like food and drinks, hosting celebrations, and potentially travel if they plan to do so.
But experts say consumers should not get carried away at this time of the year. Those who are fortunate enough to receive a 13th check are urged to have a budget in place and stick to it, and to use some of the money to pay off their debt, such as credit card debt and personal loans.
We've recently seen an increase in the interest rates in South Africa. We will most likely see some more of that in the future, unfortunately. So I think the one message that I could put out, to everyone, especially short-term debt. It's more difficult to pay off things like a house bond and car loans and so on. But that short-term debt, those credit cards, those short-term loans, tackle that debt as hard as possible. We will most likely see more interest rate increases during next year, which will mean more interest. Your installments will be higher. So tackle them as fast as possible.
What is refreshing, however, is when we asked in 2020 for South Africans to give the year a rating out of 10, our respondents' average response came back at a very dismal 3. When asked to rate this 2021 year out of 10, South Africans came back with a rating of 5. So there seems to be some measure of optimism looking forward. Most of our respondents indicated that they were optimistic and excited for 2022. And hopefully, if we work together and continue boosting our economy through careful spending and managing our debt levels responsibly, we're in for a better year.
Those with school-going children are advised to buy school uniform and stationery now rather than in January. And paying for school fees now will help reduce the financial burdens in January. Experts have also called on consumers to ensure that both their will, short-term and long-term insurance are up to date.
We know that for those who are able to pay school fees in advance, there's often discounts available. So it really helps to sit down now already and almost have an action plan, for the festive season and for January, and really to change it from this January worry that we often have to a more proactive plan and make sure it's in the budget and we've planned for that.
The study also revealed that 41% of South Africans say that they were better off financially than this time last year. Some consumers rely on the savings from their stokvel to buy household necessities during the festive season. In addition, consumers are advised to have an emergency fund of at least 6 months of their salary to dip into rather than relying on credit. This money should be saved in an interest-bearing account such as money market and unit trust.
I think the biggest gift that you can give yourself or your family is to get on the other side of this cycle, where instead of spending on debt and trying to repay and spending on debt again, is to build up that emergency fund first, to save up first for birthday parties or Christmas in this case, so that when that time comes, we can use the cash to spend for that. Then we can build up that emergency fund again and use the cash that we've saved up, to spend for that. So it's really taking yourself from the credit cycle into the investment or the savings cycle.
Almost 50% of the respondents for the research plan to remain at home during the festive season, and experts are optimistic that this is the most affordable way to be entertained during this period. If you haven't planned your holiday, don't try and make any last-minute plans for traveling. Naledi Matlapeng, SABC News, Johannesburg.